Welcome to the best of first-person episodes from Phantoms and Monsters. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads.
Winged Cryptid, Magog, Quebec, Canada. I live in a recently built house in Magog, Quebec, about 1 kilometer west of Lake Magog. Near my house is a forest and large marshy area, approximately 200 meters beyond my property. I have lived here for 2 years. Many of my neighbors have been here the same amount of time. Since June of this year, we have been hearing loud snarling sounds coming from the marsh, mostly late at night. At first I thought it may be a coyote or other canine of some kind, but recently we've noticed activity that rules this out. My neighbor 3 houses down had recently obtained a llama and kept it in a large railed pen behind their house. This past weekend, the llama disappeared. The only evidence found were drag marks in the area around the pen leading to the marsh. There were no tracks or blood anywhere. In fact, the police took a report and searched. They found nothing. On Sunday night, I was in my greenhouse cleaning up when I heard a loud thud come from behind my utility shed. I started to walk out of my greenhouse when I heard that distinctive snarling, and it was very close. I immediately went back into the greenhouse, cut off the lights and quietly watched. I called my wife on my cell phone and told her what was going on and to make sure all the doors were locked. I sat on a bench and waited. I had been there for about 10 minutes or so when I heard the snarling again. There is a security light on a timer mounted outside of the back porch. It was on and shining towards the greenhouse. There is an additional security light by the driveway that comes on if triggered by something moving nearby. I heard some movement near the utility shed again, then another thud and a brief shrieking sound. Suddenly the security light above the driveway came on. It was a huge winged creature with a long thin tail. It was hideous, looked like it had bat skin and short horns on weird snake-like head. It opened its wings at one point. I say the wingspan was at least 8 meters. I didn't notice feathers. It stood about 3 to 4 meters high as well. It was snarling and thrashing its head as it ran towards the marsh. I really know of no animal to reference it to. One of my neighbors came running out, but he didn't see it. I described what I witnessed. He looked shocked at what I was saying. I don't know if he believed me or not. We decided to call the police and report an unknown animal on the property. I didn't want to describe what I'm sure I saw. The next day, I contacted a zoologist in Montreal and was referred to a cryptozoologist in Sherbrooke. Neither of them offered much help, and neither volunteered to come and examine the area. The police found nothing, though my yard had 4 dig marks in it, but looked like someone took a shovel and overturned the soil. I haven't heard any sound since that incident. If you like to contact me, feel free to do so.
I wanted to tell a story of what I experienced in the vicinity of Rio Arriba County, Abiquiu, Tierra Azul. I was 15 at the time, so this was in 2005. My cousin and I were the only ones together. There was a car in front of us. All of a sudden I see this black figure. It looked like trash flying in the wind, but then as it got closer, it started to look like a runner with its hands in front of it, flat, like runners when they are running. But it didn't look like a man. The car in front swerved and in that next seconds everything slowed down. The creature in front of the car to right of the shoulder started coming at our car. And it jumped when it did that. It spread its arms, and these wings came out. About the size of the car, width-wise from driver to passenger door. Its face was freaky because it wasn't human at all, and had beady yellow eyes, 2 fangs, but now that I look back it reminds me of the Mothmen. It didn't have ears, and its face looked almost blank besides eyes and fangs. The fangs looked like 3 to 6 inches sticking out of its mouth. Its chest had a white V. Its fur was something similar to a deer, like grayish-white and brown, or an owl. The legs were weird and looked like goat legs. I now know they are called hawks. The height was like 4 to 5 feet tall. The wings looked like they came out of its sides, rib cage, like a glider, but they extended longer than the arms and looked like bat wings, except they were big. My aunt told me that she thinks my cousin, who witnessed the being with me, saw it again a few years ago. This is her story as told to me. My cousin was checking on her double wide because it was not connected to the grid. She told my aunt that she had a weird feeling, so she stayed in her van. It literally came out of nowhere, and her youngest daughter started screaming and pulling on her headrest from behind her and said, "It's going to get us." There by her trailer she said she saw the yellow eyes peeking around a tree looking at them both, then hiding again. She said that right away she got out of there. They think it was the same creature since her trailer is 1 mile from where we saw the winged creature the first time. It's strange that she saw with me all those years ago, then again 10 years later. M.
Large dark wing being encountered on I-90 near Illinois-Wisconsin state line. I've been meaning to reach out for some time now and finally am. I became aware of you from a Chicago Mothmen video on YouTube around 1.5 years ago. I have occasionally shared my story through the years, which isn't a whole lot with others, when paranormal topics arise. My wife recently purchased Mothman Dynasty as a gift, and I did feel it was very thoughtful. I'm roughly halfway through it. I also listened to a podcast by members of your team while extensively traveling last month. The slight difference between my story and many of the others in your book is the time frame. My sighting was December 2007. It occurred about 1 mile or 2 past the Illinois state line from Wisconsin on I-90 southbound around 4 or 5 a.m. I was very tired while making an attempt to travel from northern Minnesota to western New York with my son who I picked up for the holidays. I basically wasn't trying to pay for a hotel and did eventually stop at a rest area a couple hours later, I believe. I saw a dark silhouette on my front left side in the darkness ahead and didn't really think anything of it until it came into my headlights. What I saw flew straight across the road, like a cross street, at a decent speed, but not in a flash. From what I recall it was dark brown, and it was possibly the length, top to bottom, as the width of my car. I don't recall a body, but I may be intentionally blanking it out. I saw a leather-like wing flapping down for sure. It seemed oval. I don't recall a tail or head. The one picture behind the big Indian in Chicago may be the closest thing to what I recall. Most descriptions in your book don't seem to represent what I saw. I say this because what I saw didn't fly fluidly or smoothly. It was awkward and far from the flap of an eagle. When it left my headlights view I could see the same silhouette on my right in the dark. My first impression was something prehistoric, but not the wing of what I believe a pteranodon would look like. Another first impression that was immediate was the hair on the back of neck, my standing up, realizing I saw something unexplained. I was scared but not terrified, and can't recall how long I stayed on the road after, but do recall as long as I could. I did try an internet search a couple months later that had an interactive map, and the closest thing I found was a sighting probably 20 miles south from mine. Someone described an awkward flying creature flying away from them during dusk, and that's about the closest description to my sighting I heard. St.
Winged humanoid encountered in Salina, Utah. I would say around June 2013, in Salina, Utah, I was walking under a street lamp with a friend. He was talking, and I was looking at the stars as we walked. We walked under a street lamp that was also shining light upwards. Plain as day, I saw a flying humanoid, head, body, arms and legs almost like human, fly above the street lamp, flying about 10 feet from the edge of the asphalt road, 30 to 40 off the ground, flying in the opposite direction as we were walking. The creature was traveling south on the west side of the road. The height, I would say, is around the size of an adult human. Its arms, legs and body were athletic looking, but looked like it hardly had any muscle. It had 5 fingers like us, but had 3 toes. The toes narrowed down to a point, like a cone or triangle. It had 2 wings, one coming off each shoulder. The length of the wing was about the length of the creature's arm. The wings were narrow, and had very little surface area. I did not see the creature flap its wings to fly. Its wings looked too small to support its body. Plus the body was parallel to the ground, and was elongated like it was laying down while flying. The weight of the hips, legs, feet should have been sagging towards the ground. It had small hooks-like things that came off from the creature's leg, mid-calf area and faced outward. I did not see any breasts or penis. I don't know what sex it was. Hopefully it does not reproduce, but I am sure it does. I have told many people about what I saw that night. Most people don't believe me. Although I did run into a guy that saw one, I'd say the same species of the creature. He was camping also around Salina, Utah area. It flew down, swooped at him, and made a creepy noise. SE.
This is Lon Strickler. If you like this program, it would help us if you would give it a thumbs up. Then subscribe and click the bell icon so you get notification when we upload new first-person encounters. We have many more to come very soon. And by the way, if you have a suggestion or an experience of your own, please leave a comment.